almost on time for once.
Yeah. So, last time, you guys had the date, and from there, you decided to mostly do your own stuff. So, I'll simply say, how did you spend the night?
What do you mean, how do we spend the day?
Night. How did you spend the night? I thought I said night.
You probably did. Um, aren't we in our respective rooms? The last thing I remember is I pulled a big prank on Octavius in the middle of a performance. And then we were home and eating dinner.
Hmm. Yes, you guys were home eating dinner. So then I'll ask that Octavius and Necro, how did you spend the nights?
Uh, Probably just going back to the house and going to bed.
Wasn't this after dinner?
Yeah, this would be after dinner, up to the new stuff, or up to this morning. What did you do during that interim period? I'm assuming all of you took a long rest. Otherwise, you want to take a level of exhaustion.
I definitely took a long rest.
Alrighty. So, how do you want to spend the morning?
We get
I'm
up,
gonna
we bathe, we eat.
I'm gonna
Not
make
every
some
day
tea.
has to be an event.
I'll
Oh,
make
we'll
some
find out.
tea.
Hmm?
I'll make some tea for everyone.
I hate that you said it like that, Brian.
So, Holly, you get out and start to make tea,
Tea.
and it's fairly nice. So, how? What kind of tea do you want to make?
I'm gonna make the kind that I think it's Necro's character normally makes. The one that went on the date.
Mm. The rest of you wake up, and slowly, you all come to the dining.
Death Wish coffee.
Sorry, Necker, could you repeat?
Try making some Death Wish coffee.
You know, the people that come up with this crap really need to work on their branding.
All right, Holly, you're enjoying tea while they're drinking coffee that is quite literally labeled as death. So you're not sure if you should feel insulted or grateful that you're not being forced to drink the tea or the coffee.
Oh,
I
nice.
still make a cup of tea for everyone.
Aw.
I'll do both.
So, how do you want to? So then, from there, how do you guys want to proceed? You can ask for food. You can go and do studying or whatever you want.
I'm gonna ask everybody what their plans for the day are, because I still don't want to be in town necessarily.
Still waiting for our boss, aren't we?
Are we still waiting on the boss lady?
She
Yeah.
well, yes and no. You're not sure where she is, but you also know she's gone.
Okay. Do we know that she's like somewhere doing a specific thing?
You, to put simply, no.
Do
Simply
you
put,
guys want to go look for her?
I think I'll stay home, finish my current project, and play with Lornora for a while.
so, Octavius, what are your plans?
I mean, outside waiting for the all my freaking crap is effectively waiting on reply from the world outside of going to visit home at some point. I guess until boss lady says what to do otherwise, I'll just start bonding with my direwolf, and I actually have to think of a name for this guy. Is it a boy or a
Aw.
girl?
So,
Did you hear my question?
it was about the direwolf, yes, and you have to come up with a name.
Yeah, is it a boy or a girl direwolf?
You have not checked yet.
I will check genus.
Roll animal handling.
Ooh, I'm not good with that.
It thinks you're playing a game and constantly keeps bounding away from you right as you go to pick.
It's been with us for a few days. I've seen how it goes to the bathroom.
Surprisingly not. Also, you're not sure where it actually goes. Matter of fact, none of you know where your animals go. If I remember correctly, one of you had the displacer beast, and one of you had. It wasn't the owl bear. It was one of the other direwolves, I believe.
There was 2 displacer beasts and a dire wolf.
Toki got an owlbear.
Yeah,
And-
I have a displacer beast, and
Yes.
Octavius has a displacer beast, and Necro has a direwolf.
Octavius has a direwolf. Necro has the displacer beast.
Oh, never mind then.
You two have the kitty weapons.
I have the cute blink kitty.
In here, I thought the displacer beasts were more canine.
Nope, displacer beasts are cats. Okay, I literally looked up a random name generator and I got Scooby.
Hey, it's your decision what you call them.
Well, it's gonna be really hard because freaking gotta find out if it's a boy or a girl or not.
Try wrestling it.
Neko, sorry, could you repeat?
I'd say you should start wrestling with it.
No. If you're Neko, sorry, you're not exactly there, but if you're asking about him naming it, the name would have to be sort of trained. They're not just going to respond to whatever name you come up with. You actually have to like train them to respond. So yeah, Octavius, you could name it Scooby.
I'll keep looking. Go. Cycle back to me.
Okay. Necro, what do you want to do?
I want to work on my current project for the moment, and then I'll start training my displacer beast.
Sorry, could you repeat? You cut out there for me.
Project, then beast.
Okay, which one was that again?
The armor set.
Oh yes. Yeah, like I remember. I'm having trouble keeping track of everything I have written down. I know for a fact it was you were trying to make an armor set that was just overall better.
Yeah, better than studded without being magical.
Oh yes, sorry. Now I remember. I got a lot of things, but point is, you can continue working on that or begin working on it. Actually, roll an just a general intelligence check. 14. You remember, for the most part, any plans you've already made about this. Beyond that, you don't. There isn't much you. There isn't much work on it at the moment, but that can be easily rectified. You can spend either a quarter, the half, or the full day trying to do this, or basically just progressing the project.
I'll say 3/4, and then the last quarter I'll be training. I'll be training the displacer beast.
Okay. roll a just roll another intelligence check. This is to see how far conceptually you can get through it. It actually is a bit of a struggle. Somehow, you're not sure why, though. Later on, afterwards, though, your frustration does lead you to then go and train with your displacer beast. Roll an animal handling check.
Oh, that should be good.
Huh. Well, you've managed to train it to the point where it will respond to a name. And you've also trained it to a point where it will be able to immediately teleport not teleport so much, it displaces itself so that it never strays too far from you. Thus, it will never get lost. So, Necro, you decided on a game.
What was that?
Have you decided on a name?
Yes, since the beginning. I had the name written down.
Well, what is that?
Lenora?
Oh, okay, Lenora. Oh, that's who you meant when you said that.
Yeah.
Funny enough, you name it Lenora, and then only after the name has been imprinted, you realize Lenora is a male.
God damn it.
You see, this is why I tried to check first.
I was trying to do a, what do you call it?
Gender neutral.
The poem, The Raven.
Lenore?
Yeah.
Well, oh well. Anyways,
I've decided that I'm gonna spar with my cat.
so you're just gonna spend the entire day training her?
No, I'm just sparring with her. Just like a bonding moment. So we're just, learning to have fun.
At advantage.
Ooh. You guys just gotta spar with your animals and you can have the advantages.
Well, no, it's because you spent the entire day.
Ta-da.
You do manage to bond with your displacer beast, and you can also name them if you want.
Let's say, is it a boy or a girl?
That will require another animal handling check to find out.
Do I get advantage again or no?
No advantage.
If I'm sparring with it all day, I wouldn't see, right?
Surprisingly, no.
Displacer beast,
Displacer
your
beast.
geometry.
Damn, why can't I roll that one first?
So it's female.
Coraline!
All right, it respond. You managed to figure that out fairly quickly, and then as the whole thing begin, as blah, 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 throughout the day, as you two are you two are basically play fighting, you come to find that she responds to the name Coraline rather well. And as you're like going over to pet her, a random direwolf pup comes bolting into the room and roll a dex save as it effectively clips both your legs.
15.
All right. You managed to not fall flat on your side. Still, it does like mess you up a bit. But then you go back to being cute with it, and then you see Octavius like run through the room a few seconds later.
I'm gonna call after him. Do you need some help there?
No, I got it handled.
You sound out of breath. Maybe you should make him come to you.
So I've picked 2 names. Whether or not it's a boy or a girl. I have a feeling you're just flipping the dice, flipping a coin every time I ask. Can I try to contain this doggo to find out what it is?
Okay, since are you spending your entire day with it?
Yes, I'm spending my day finding out what it is and then training it.
Alrighty. So, as you do that, roll animal handling with advantage.
$13.
You eventually manage to get it to just tire itself out, and then it just sort of like goes like walks up to you, like turns to the side, and sort of just poof, like falls onto you, and then it just starts sleeping.
All right then, what is it?
It's a direwolf.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
It is male.
All right, Lobo it is.
It's already been spayed.
Oh, you poor boy.
Rather clinically, actually. Like, there's no... scarring is minimal. There seems to be no signs of stress or harm that was beyond what was necessary. Beyond that, it looks like whatever happened a month ago at least, which is strange considering this thing is pretty young. So, what do you want to name him?
He is going to be named Lobo. Anyone gets that, you know exactly what I'm thinking of.
Well, I know for one thing, he's not going to be riding a hoverbike. Regardless.
Isn't Lobo Russian for wolf?
Is it?
No, it's Latin. It's Latin for wolf.
I was naming him after the DC character.
Funny enough, oh wait, Lisa.
Wolf is lupus.
Yeah, lupus is Latin for wolf.
Or was it Spanish?
Lupus is lycanthropy in Latin.
Lobo is wolf, is Spanish for wolf.
Lupus means lycanthropy in Latin, though. It means the person who turns into a wolf.
Thinking
I thought it was just wolf.
I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that's what it means.
thinking Russian, it means Lisa.
I like how everywhere else it starts with an L, and in America we're just like, nope, it starts with a W.
Lupus. Lupus is wolf in Latin. Canis lupus or something.
Well, then never mind.
As we continue our day,
That is our day, training these animals to respond to the names we have picked out for them.
I think Cheshire would have been more appropriate, don't you think?
Huh?
No, I was just talking to myself.
So, dinner comes. And for the most part, your animal companions are fairly tethered to the hip.
2 cats and a dog.
Basically. From there, you haven't really. They haven't been much of a problem. Lobo has, for the most part, been very attentive and getting a lot of pets from the maids. Also, a few of them have picked him up. When you get to the dinner table, Muñeca is there, and for the most part, she's fairly indifferent about all of this.
Do I have a feeling she's a bit pissed off that there's more chores to be done now?
Roll perception at disadvantage due to the fact that she's fairly good at remaining neutral.
Perception?
Yes.
No. How dare you try to find out about someone's well-being?
Who were you examining?
Muñeca. So that would be a no. You can't tell one way or the other. For the most part, she actually seems rather pleased with all of it.
We have started taking our first steps on our Pokemon adventure.
Oh, considering I'm getting Stibble's Codex of Companions, you don't even know, motherfuckers.
Wait, what?
So am I.
Mark, you said something?
I said... I was making a joke how we just started our journey as Pokemon Masters, but you said something.
Oh, no. I said, oh, now that I have Stibble's Codex of Companions on the way, you don't even know the half of it.
Oh dear.
There is quite literally just a treant who is a bonsai tree. So, how do you... During dinner, you do notice that your pets do seem to behave well like young animals. For the most part, the displacer beasts generally remain fairly. What would be the same? Cattish, I guess.
So snobby and only eating when it suits them.
Sorta. Also, they mostly just seem to not actually care much, and instead generally amble about under the tables until, for whatever reason, they decide to simply port onto the table, grab some random bit of food, and then port back down. This happens for both Lorona and Coraline. Do you want to Do you want to try and get them to stop that?
What are they doing?
Randomly, at certain points, they begin porting up onto the table and grab bits of food and then port off of it back down to your side to eat whatever they got.
What are they grabbing? Like, what type of food are they grabbing from the counters?
Mostly like sweets, surprisingly. For the most
I'm
part,
gonna
they
take out.
typically just sorry.
I'm gonna take out a piece of meat and hand that to them, or to Coraline.
All right. So you're not actually gonna try to
I'm
reprimand
trying
them for getting
to
off the table,
persuade
but
her. I'm trying to persuade her that I have better food, basically.
she sniffs at it for a second. It's like lets out a weird low pitched purr. It's weird to describe the noise, but simply put, she sort of like paws at the meat before going back to circling your feet again, and then porting back up onto the table to grab a cupcake. And when I say grab a cupcake, she literally just unhinges her jaw, clamps around the entire cupcake, and then just ports away somewhere.
Not to my feet.
Somewhere else for a few seconds, and then she wanders around, and then she ports back to you with clear signs of frosting around her.
I'm not gonna discipline her, but I'm gonna look at her and frown a little bit. I'm not gonna discipline her, but I'm gonna look at her and I'm gonna frown.
She doesn't seem to notice. It's like she's rubbing a paw against her mouth and then licking the frosting off the paw. Necro, Eurona does similar stuff.
I will actually try disciplining mine without any kind of show of force. If that's possible.
So, effectively, you're trying to.
I'm taking the. What's the.
Hmm? Necker, could you repeat what you said there?
I was gonna try taking the non-hostile, the non-firm way of trying to discipline my cat.
So effectively, you just try. So effectively, you're just trying to be soft yet firm, I guess. All right. Roll animal handling with. No, just animal handling.
Nope.
Yorona seems to just sort of. You think for a few moments that she actually does listen to you, but
then you remember it's a cat.
it like immediately it ports behind you, like onto a shelf onto a shelf, and like bats his paw against the side of the wall, and you hear a little poof as you see like a little splat of something on on his paw. Now, God, I have to remember that's the only one that got misnamed. But the point being that effectively he killed a moth, you think, and is now like licking the remains off the.
At least he's getting rid of the pest.
Mm. Well, it comes time for night. And from there, how do you want to try and proceed with bed? Octavius, Lobo is fairly peppy. Lobo was actually the only one who didn't act up during dinner. He just was begging a lot and barking occasionally when he thought somebody wasn't paying attention to him.
I assumed we've made our own food set aside for our animals, that they were.
And oh yeah, and Lobo basically ripped through it in what was equivalent to a few minutes, probably less than a minute. From there, it was basically just him sitting next to your chair, like looking up at you with the big puppy dog, trying to get you to give him food.
I will remain strong-willed and put this child on a good diet. What'd you say?
Wisdom save.
That's 12.
Ooh. One above it. So you manage to remain barely.
What was the wisdom save for?
I was getting puppy dog eyes.
Oh, nice.
So, now comes bed. How do you want to proceed?
I just lay down in my bed and wait for my.
Eventually, it does sort of port right on top of your chest and just starts like playing with parts of your body. Like it sort of wraps itself around one of your horns, starts batting at your hair. Eventually, it just falls asleep on your boobs.
Awesome.
especially just just sit up, just sit upright and read a book for the time being. So I'll pass out.
Yorona will, at certain points, effectively sort of port in and out of your room, even porting onto your bed to like rub against you and sort of try and bat the book down to get you to pay or pay attention to him.
I'll keep reading, but every time it comes up to me, I'll pet its head.
Alrighty. Okay. Eventually, you do pass out, and eventually, you don't know this, but the beast, does slowly like curl up effectively where your lap is. So, Octavius, what do you try to do?
I how big are these beds?
Uh, Decently. 2 people minimum could sleep in it.
All right, I'm gonna try to get like a couple things of blankets to like the foot of my bed, like on top on the foot of the bed, and I'm just gonna like try and make that into like his little doggy bed.
Mm, you do. And as such, you find it's fairly simple, actually. Just as at a certain point, he just comes, you just boop, 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 as he comes bounding into the room, doing a running leap and falling short of the bed and like slamming into the very like soft part of it.
Where he ran up, jumped, and hit the front of the bed.
Yeah, he hit the side of the bed, but then he like as he landed, he sort of like shook himself off, and then like was slowly trying to climb up the bed, but failing because he's kind of short.
I pick him up to get him into his bed.
Aw. He like turns around a bit and sleeps in a way where he's like half on the bed, half off it. So, you all have a rather peaceful night. And then comes morning. Octavius, the dog isn't on the bed when you wake up.
I look around the room.
Not there. Though there are what appear to be scratch marks on the door. They're very faint. They don't seem to have gouged deeply. But
He had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
probably. And as you come downstairs, he's like sitting somewhere, and he's actually lying down on a bed, just laid out.
Whose bed is it?
Oh, it appears to be one of the maid's beds. You sort of are wandering around, and you eventually find him from like the sound of panting. And from there, it's fairly easy to get him up. He's sort of laid out on his back. One of the maids is just idly petting his belly, and he's just like has the happiest look on his face.
This kid is one smooth customer.
Did you repeat?
I was just saying, like, this kid is like smooth.
He like if you whistle for him, he will sort of like flip over and then run off and then dash off to you. So, how do you wish to proceed?
Are we still waiting on what's her face?
From the looks of it, yes.
I'm gonna try and persuade the party members. Should we go after her this time? Or are we just gonna waste another day in town?
I'm actually progressive here, productive here.
Alright, you guys stay here. I'll swing by her temple or wherever, see if something's going on.
You really mean to leave me here and drive me stir crazy?
Oh, yes. Vindictively.
You know I'm just gonna leave as soon as you do, right?
You could if I don't lock the door.
You act like I can't unlock it.
You act like the lock can be opened.
Quick question. Do we live in a 2-story house?
You're not yeeting off the balcony.
I have a displacer beast, excuse me.
Which cannot teleport you. It's too small.
You don't know that? Maybe if I hug it tight enough, it'll teleport with me.
If you jump with that cat, it's going to leave you to die. It is not
Maybe.
big enough to
We'll
take
find
you
out.
with it.
Maybe. We'll find out. But do we live in a 2-story house?
We live in
Yes.
a mansion.
Okay. Alright. I'll figure out something.
So, sorry, Holly, what did you want to do?
Well, I wait for Octavius to leave.
Octavius, do you leave?
Yeah, I'm leaving to go check on our boss.
Okay. Holly, what do you do?
First, I check if he locked the door.
Did you? Octavius?
The minute I step outside the door, I'm casting this. So she can't come out the front door.
Oh, you have to stay inside of it for it to work.
Fuck, I forgot about that. Never
Yeah.
mind. Fuck me.
Ha ha ha.
I could fuck with with Noctis's doors, but I'm not going to. I was basically just trying to psych her out.
Hmm.
Probably about 10 minutes after he leaves, I just walk out the door since he didn't lock it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna follow Octavius stealthily.
Oh.
Well, you gotta find me first. You left 10 minutes after.
That's true. But don't I know where you're going?
You have no idea. Do you know where the Temple of the Death God is in this city?
Probably. I am a death cleric. Well, not a death cleric, but a grave cleric.
Yeah, but that you're for your own cleric, for your own sect.
True. Didn't we meet her at that temple though, or did we meet her somewhere else?
We met her. You
met
met
her
her at the
somewhere else.
mansion.
Okay. I will attempt to track him then when I leave.
Okay. Okay.
What kind of role is it to
It
try
would
and
be it would be survival first if you want to be able to track him, and then stealth if you want to go unnoticed.
Okay. So there's that. And there's and I have advantage because I have the elven cloak.
Fuck.
Hmm. Hmm. So, you do effectively you are tracking and remaining fairly unobserved by Octavius. Octavius, are you trying to find Alicia?
Yep.
All right. Roll a general. This would be wisdom.
God damn it. I don't have wisdom.
You poor thing.
Why would this be wisdom? I know where her church is.
Brian.
Hmm?
Octavius is going to the church to find her.
Oh, sorry. Was looking at. Let's just see if she was there. Actually, that takes you a couple hours, a bit longer than you'd want, but eventually you do find it. It's not that bad, actually. So, you eventually do find the church. And you manage to gain entry. It's a rather somber area. Most of the stone is a blackish purple. Most of there are curtains over most of the windows, only letting in small streams of light. Beyond that, there isn't much else to say.
Did I mention that I took my cat with me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go eat dinner, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Basically, I'm just
Octavia.
tailing Octavius, and if he catches me, I'm just gonna say, "You can't leave me in one place for too long," and then I'm gonna go to the outskirts of town and play with my cat.
So, Octavius, as you gain entrance, it's a fairly somber area, fairly practical in terms of decorations, surprisingly mundane for a church. Though the building is big, there are several areas where shrines to different gods of death, to different aspects of death, have been raised. Death in combat, death of age, death of disease. All of them serving the same god, but all of them worshiping how he operates in different manners, I suppose you could say. How he how souls are collected, effectively. For the most part, it's fairly quiet until unless you want to try to make it not quiet by trying to find somebody.
I guess I look to the nearest itinerary. I don't know. Freaking grab a guy that looks like he knows what he's doing here.
Sorry, could you repeat? You cut out there for me.
I try to find someone and ask where she is.
Oh, you eventually do. Okay. You do find somebody. It's rather. It's actually a bit hard to do so at first. For some reason. You don't know why. But the point is, eventually you do find somebody. An older gentleman. He's got a bit of a beard and he's rather. What would be the word? Effectively, you find him to be sort of tending to one of the shrines, lighting candles. And as he turns, you notice one eye is covered by a wrap of cloth, fairly simple, and a small trail of red is slowly moving down it. Oh, hello there. You who? Sorry, could you repeat who you were looking for? Hearing isn't as good as it is, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I'm looking for Alicia.
Sister Alicia. Oh, she
Ye-
was here a few days ago. She already left, actually, now that I think about it.
And she hasn't been back since.
No, I don't think so. No, I would have. She would have. I would have probably seen her at the altars if she had. Hmm.
When was the last time I saw her?
You saw her when you turned over the pseudo phylactery, and then she went to the church to discuss what to do with it.
Do you have any idea where she has gone?
Um, you might. Sadly, no, but you might want to ask one of the other one of the other bishops. They might know more.
Right.
I'm
And
simply a groundskeeper.
where might they be?
Oh, and it sort of gives you directions. Down at the other end of the room, there should be a hallway. Take it to the right, and you should find a mess hall. Most of the time, they don't appreciate it when strangers walk in unannounced. But if you mention that you're looking for her, they probably won't hold it against you.
Thanks. And I head to the mess hall. These frickers need to wear bells. I can't find any of them.
By the way, your dog's been with you the entire time.
Of course he is. He is a good boy.
Hmm. Good day to you too. As he goes back to tending to the shrines. So, you enter and you find a rather interesting area. It's a mixture of a mess hall and almost like a mortuary. There's there are what appear to be old ancient coffins, like just raised pedestals of stone stacked on top of one another, arranged in shelf formations that would house bodies, but all of them are empty. The tables are long, narrow, and made of stone, as are most of the benches. Most of the men and women there are wearing simple garments, robes. A few of them seem to wear armor of some kind, but for the most part, it's all fairly simplistic, honestly. Now, for the rest of it, you actually notice a few other things. Most of them are wearing identical coverings to that of the old man you met. One eye covered, a slight red trail leaking, and it's all the same eye, the left one. Beyond that, nothing distinctive about any of them. For some reason, they all just sort of meld into similar beings. It's a bit unsettling. Hmm.
I try to find someone that looks distinct or important enough that would know where the heck she is.
Hmm. You eventually do find a man who is willing to talk with you, mostly because he has finished eating, says a small prayer, and then you come up. Hmm. Oh, welcome. Why are you here? You said you were here for Sister Alicia, yes?
Are we skipping over me asking him, or is this some?
No, it just seems he didn't register.
Yes.
Hmm. Interesting. She had been here for a few days. She had been conferring with the archbishops and those in charge of the church, as well as those who were traveling pilgrims from the facility from our churches down in the theocracy. She left mentioning something about pursuing a lead about the assignment.
Would you
From that,
happen to know what that lead might be?
I would assume it would be connected. No, she was rather secretive of it. However, I would assume it would have whatever it would have to do with whatever she was talking with the archbishops about.
Well, this is a shot in the dark, but can I have an audience with one of the ones she was talking to, considering she's hasn't shown up in the last 2 days?
Sadly, no. Their services are required throughout the city, and as such, meetings are rare. And as a matter of fact, her meeting only occurred 3 days ago, and she left shortly out, and she left the next day. Given that she had been here for almost an entire week, I think they can tell you how long it took for her to get a meeting, and she was a member of the church. Seeing as you are not one, I would imagine it would take much longer. What is your connection with her?
She hired me for security for this assignment and is now missing.
Hmm. Well then, in that case, I should mention she seemed rather manic, almost panicky to an extent. Hard to say. Point being, she left shortly after, and she had mentioned specifically something about what would be a phylactery? Though I don't know why she would have one. Phylacteries are seen as a perversion of death, unless she found one, in which case that might explain it. I'd suggest retracing your steps with her, or retracing your steps on whatever she told you to do.
Great. This job keeps getting more and more complicated. Thank you for your time.
Apologies, I could not be more helpful.
And I leave the church.
Alrighty. So, as you leave the church, you don't notice. Roll another perception check. This would be to see if you notice her. Nope. You're just a bit too occupied with your own stuff. So, do you want to head back to the house?
At this point, it's probably the smartest thing to do.
Alrighty. Slowly, you head back to the house, with Holly following you. So, just to recap, Alicia's been missing for at least 2 days, possibly even 3 at this point. But point is, she left the church and didn't come back. Beyond that, you don't know much, aside that it might have something to do with the phylactery you discovered. How do you want to proceed?
I'm gonna grab Noctis and we're gonna search the room she was using here.
Alright. That would also mean that Holly's back in the house. So from there, for the most part, you two have a fairly easy time about it, I suppose you could say. The room isn't locked. Most of it is fairly organized. Notes, various other things, specifically materials used for spellcasting, various potions and other decanters that are currently filled up with material. Beyond that, Holly, you back? Sorry, I thought I heard her for a second. Regardless, you guys see not much. You guys can smell the faint scent of rot.
Am I there?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
here with
you'd have
everyone's in
followed
this
him
room.
the entire time.
We're back at the house, examining Alicia's room.
What's
Said-
happening in Alicia's room?
We smell rot, and I would like to invest. Lobo's too young to actually trace that scent, so I'd like to investigate that scent.
All right, roll an investigation check.
Can I give him guidance?
Sure.
Natural 20, 23, but plus the D4. 25. Natural 20,
The smell
25.
The smell's emanating from a small box of something underneath the table, or underneath her desk or bed. God, could not talk. And from there, you notice that the box itself has been the thing deteriorating. The materials inside are perfectly intact.
And what's inside?
Mostly herbs, and also a small symbol. Something akin to an amulet.
Like,
Well, minus the string.
so, like a holy symbol?
Sorta. It's a small, very smooth stone. Effectively like a coin. Except there's a symbol, a very intricate and very small series of holy scripture imprinted on either side, on both sides. And when you open the box to begin with, like the lid literally crumples away in your hand and then almost turns to dust. And then as you're holding it, and as you slowly pull the symbol out, it feels warm to the touch, but not. What would be the word?
I'm ritual casting identify.
This is, I don't have a name, but it's a homebrew item I made. Effectively, it is akin to a dead man switch.
I'm sorry, what?
In a way. What it does is it is attuned to a person's body and can effectively be used as a sort of stopgap. If the person is to die or be put into an extremely wounded state, it triggers, effectively prolonging their death infinitely until either their body is saved or the symbol gives out. Which, now that you've saved it and likely have it in your possession, is most probably going to be indefinite, since if it had stayed in the wooden box, it would have only lasted a few more days. Underneath all the herbs, however, is a note. It reads, to the to Octavius, Noctis, Holly, Thargirth, and Thargirth. If you're reading this, then that means I've fallen into. Then that means my plan to locate and kill whatever creature the phylactery belonged to did not work. Use the symbol as a way to locate my body and revive me. From there, I'll be able to do the rest. From there, I'll be able to lead you to the rest.
The
I told you we should have checked on her.
fucking.
To be fair, she had only been gone. She'd only been gone about a week.
Which she spent at the church, then disappeared.
Yeah.
I still think we should have checked on her.
Was the deal with me running into stubborn women? How am I supposed to use this thing?
As you say that, you actually notice the symbols are glowing to an extent. And then you turn and it starts glowing brighter.
Oh, hell, it's one of those.
Granted, it should be noted that you have to point downwards to get it, like, you have to point ever slightly downwards to get the brightest glow.
Well, we're going back in the sewers.
This should be fun.
Lovely. I take whatever's useful in her room, like whatever potions she has, any shit that might help us.
Okay, there are 2 healing potions, a vial of antivenom, and also a small scroll of gentle repose. Whatever good that does.
Gentle repose?
I know what that does.
What does that do?
It makes it so that when you cast it on a person or a dead creature, that they cannot become undead, and it postpones the time limit that you have to cast revivification spells.
Basically, it's effectively a magic cooler.
Basically, the corpse will stay fresh, so you can bring it back in a much longer time span than, say, Revivify, which is the only spell that I know that can bring people back.
Lovely. So you hold on to that.
I don't need it. I already have that spell.
Lovely.
I recommend giving it to someone else so that if I go down, somebody else can use it.
I'm the only other spellcaster.
Well, that's a scroll, and they generally do not need to be wielded by spellcasters. However, if you wanted to hold on to it, that would be fine with me.
I thought the rule with scrolls is if you're able to cast it at, it has to be a level you can cast, otherwise you roll to be able to cast the spell.
That might be a rule.
I shall look it up. A spell scroll bears the words of a single spell written in a mystical cipher. If the spell is on your class's spell list, you can read the scroll and cast its spell without providing any material components. Otherwise, the scroll is unintelligible.
Okay, never mind. I'll take it.
It doesn't say it requires the level, just that it would be on your spell list.
Yeah, it's available on my spell list, so I'll take it. Because I'm pretty sure it's a strictly cleric spell.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe paladin.
So, do you want to start following? Do you want to try and leave your pets at the house?
No, mine's coming with me.
Octavius, Noctis. How do you proceed?
Yeah, I'll bring my dog.
Sorry, could you repeat? You cut out there for me.
I will bring pet.
Okay. Noctis?
Was I even there to begin with?
This was in the house.
Yeah, but nobody.
I said I grabbed you to search her room.
Yeah. He did drag you there.
I'll leave my pet behind then.
Okay, I'm the thing I'm saying about the higher spell thing is a rule if it's a higher level than you can cast of your spell list. It's the second part of that paragraph. But it's
Also, it can be cast by wizards if you're a
Hey,
wizard.
Toki, you're late.
No, I'm not. I'm early.
The game started an hour and a half ago.
Mm.
No, you need to make an Octavius. You need to make an ability check to cast it.
yeah, at a higher. That was the thing I was talking about earlier.
Thought you just said you legit couldn't cast it if it was of a.
No, I said if
No,
it's a
he
higher
was saying
level,
you
then
had to make a roll.
yeah, it's based on your spellcasting ability if you're able to cast that spell. Which technically, as a bard, I'm pretty sure I can steal any spell. But it's fine. It doesn't matter. We have a cleric.
It can also be cast by wizards.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a wizard, but if we did, then they could also cast a spell.
So, Toki, our boss is apparently dead or dying in the sewers, and we have to go find her body.
Or just grievously injured.
Also known as dying.
I didn't do it.
Hmm?
No, it was a lich. We're somebody who wants a lich's phylactery, which I guess could be really anyone.
So, Toki,
What?
are you trying to say something, or was that Necro?
It wasn't me.
Necro?
I was gonna say, are we gearing up and moving out, or
Well, that's up to you guys.
no? I was asking the group,
I'm
or
ready to go.
should we notify the church?
What if they had something to do with it?
Okay, 1, you're paranoid. 2, she's been missing for 2 days. 3, it's literally recovering a body at this point.
Let's hurry up and go then. Holly's gonna start walking out of the house to the sewers.
I like how you've immediately assumed she's dead when I did specify that it triggers whenever she's grievously injured as well.
Yeah, but it's been 2 days since said grievous injury.
As far that's what you think.
Whatever,
That's
we
how
have
long
the
it's been
magic
active.
rock that acts as a compass. Let's go already.
I'm already walking towards the sewers.
Before I head out, I'll let Muñeca know what's going on,
All
and
right.
if we're gone for more than 2 days, it's just been the worst.
It's like, don't even try to come get. So, Octavius, are you leading the pack with the magic rock, or are you letting the other ones go ahead on their own ways and you just follow it without saying?
Can the people who actually can take a hit cover me while I use this stupid rock compass?
Okay, but you guys would just be wandering the streets of the city, you do realize, right?
Effectively, because it's pointing down, we're going to the sewers.
At a certain point, yes.
I think we were planning to just go down into the sewers and then use the rock to navigate in the sewer.
Is this leading us to the sewers we previously cleared out?
Yeah, I assume so.
Yes, actually, it does. Beyond that, not much happens. So, as you guys enter the sewers, the rock actually points. The rock begins to point upwards. Or rather, not upwards, but just straight ahead. In one moment.
God, there's 2 of them.
You'd be around here.
We came in, or it's led us there?
That's where you came. That was the entrance it led you to.
Gotcha.
And where's the arrow pointing towards?
One moment. It is pointing. God, I need to find the room that I put her in. That way.
Southwest.
Basically.
We head that way.
And we'll take the shortcuts.
All right. You get to. You manage to traverse the halls, and without much incident, find your way to room 19. Here, you find a lot of dead bodies, and also a part of the wall that's been knocked down or blown apart. There's no real way to tell. The hole leads to further caves, to further tunnels, but for the most part, it's a bit hard to tell where it would lead. Unfortunately, the large amount of bodies and blood all over the place makes it a lot less hard. From there, the stone is still, but it is shifted to somewhere in this direction. It should be noted a similar scent of rot to the one of the wood that you found in the box under Alicia's bed. Similar smelling, similar scents here.
Well, I know what I'm looking for this time.
Hmm.
I'll help you out in this case.
What are you trying to discern? What are you guys trying to do?
Trying to find the scent of the rotting wood.
Okay.
So, how do you proceed?
Well, did they get the information they were looking for? They rolled a 24.
Oh, to search the bodies, I believe, or just in general?
Search the room.
It looks like the battle's been at least a day or two. most of the magic that was thrown around is distinctly arcane and not holy. So whoever was casting magic around here, and it is easy to tell because there's like green scorch marks along the walls, puddles of something on the floor and ceiling, and also the stench. It's specifically something bizarre.
Can I identify the bodies?
Most of them are basic thugs and thieves. It's a bit weird, but their bodies feel relatively cold given the recentness of their deaths.
And can we locate the stench, what the rotting wood stench where it's coming from?
It's a similar box, though it's already been deprived of its. Excuse me. A similar box
Don't
in at
die.
least make, but it doesn't have the same composition. Instead, in this one, there's a small holy symbol that's corroded and almost melting, or at least mid melting.
I pick it up. Do I recognize it?
Um, no, at least not right away.
Can I
If you want
tell
to
what?
identify it,
I
roll.
mean, I don't have the spell identify.
Just roll religion, because it is it's a holy symbol, not anything magic.
So it's not glowing like Alicia's.
Hmm?
Does it grow like Alicia's?
Um, no.
I got a 4, so probably not.
But then again, the only reason holy symbols glow typically is because you actually are using it as a conduit for your magic. That's why it glows. Hmm.
I only rolled a 4, so I'm assuming I don't know what it is.
Hmm. No, sadly, it's weird. It's far too degraded for you to be able to tell. Any distinctive marks have been scored clean. Beyond that, you don't know.
Can I cast Medic on it? Does it do anything?
Hmm. Yes, and this actually turns out to be a symbol to the goddess of Sandra, goddess of life and light.
I'm
It's
guessing that's not the cleric we're looking for.
no. Matter of fact, it might not even have been a cleric, just some random man or woman who was particularly faithful.
Okay. I'm gonna
So,
confirm with all of the party members. This wasn't hers, so at least there's that.
Yeah. Octavius and Noctis, both of you realize, yeah, no, it's not the one. So, from there, you guys want to continue onwards, or do you actually want to search, or do you want to search the bodies?
We should do a quick search.
Hmm?
A quick search.
Sure, roll investigation. Uh, not much. Mostly just like scraps of armor that haven't already been destroyed by the magic. A few bolts for crossbows that really aren't worth that much. And most of the equipment's either in shambles or far too degraded to be of any use. So, do you guys want to move on, or do you want to keep going? Also, Octavius, are you all right with this, or do you want to do anything?
No, I'm good.
Alrighty. You all continue onwards. Which room do you want to go to next?
I think we should go towards 16.
I mean, we are trying to get towards this room, right?
We're going into the direction which the stone is pulsating, which is southeast, I believe. For now.
It would now be southeast, yes.
Southwest.
East.
Southeast.
So let's go to room 4 and see if it till it changes anything.
It's like this general area that it seems to glow the brightest at the moment. So, you do. You make your way through room 4, head down, and then head to room 14, not 16. There, you find the room is fairly all right. For the most part, it just seems rather dirty, but given the fact that this is a rather interesting place. So, for the most part, the room is just slightly off. Something feels weird. You can't put your finger on it, though. Lights seem to bounce a bit further than they're supposed to. Shadows are a bit deeper. Everything just seems a bit stretched. Beyond that, you can't tell much. You can search the room to see if you can find anything, but beyond that,
I'm gonna take one of my flasks of goblin ale or whatever the frick this is, and like throw it around to see like what that effect is.
The water sort of goes for a few seconds and then disappears immediately.
Which direction did that happen? Does it happen the same direction that the stone is glowing?
No, it's just general stuff. It happens in almost every direction, though it seems centralized to this corner of the room, the opposite direction of where the stone is currently shining, which has shifted back to southeast again, or
West.
southwest.
You know, it sounds like this. I really wish I had dispel magic. I'm gonna go to that corner.
All right. You hear this low hum. Just this low underlying, just sort of echoing, but without source off of the corner. Sort of just bouncing. But once you step away far enough, it just stops entirely. Dead stop.
Hey guys. Get ready to shoot. And I reach my hand into the corner and try to grab something.
Your hand vanishes.
Do I feel anything?
Yeah, you feel actually a warm breeze. It's rather pleasant. You feel something land on your hand, very light, like almost a bug.
I pull it out slowly.
A vibrantly colored butterfly is resting on your hand. Though the moment your hand fully exits, it immediately flutters off and back into it. A specific note, the butterfly was glowing. Like iridescent light from the wings.
Fucking okay, I have an idea out of character. Can I make an Arcana check?
Sure. You know vaguely that teleportation magic, and whenever certain large amounts of magic are used in certain areas, it can lead to unintentional side effects. Especially teleportation magic.
Okay.
You want to stick your head in there, see what's on the other side.
First wrap a rope around my waist to make sure I don't get pulled in. I'm gonna wrap a rope around my waist, hand the rope to the party, and put my head in through it.
You're in a very pleasant. You see in the distance what looks like the spires of an impossibly intricate and lush castle.
I lived
Looking
with
around.
bards for years. Am I looking at the frickin' Feywild?
A part of it, yeah.
Pull my head out.
Or an image of it. It's hard to tell. You do.
Do I remember seeing that?
Roll a d20.
Nope. I don't know what the rule is, but I'm pretty sure I didn't make it.
One sec. I need to look something up.
Pretty sure it's a wisdom saving throw.
Oh yeah, sorry. Roll a wisdom save. So I'll let you redo it. Just this once since I messed up.
There you go. See, you can be
Yeah,
wise.
you remember it perfectly. It's like, whoa. Yeah, you definitely remember.
Okay. We are staying the F away from that corner. That's the Feywild.
Is the sending stone, or not? Is the stone pointing at it?
Nope.
Opposite direction.
Okay.
That is going to be a problem.
I'm sure it's fine. I mean, you only were able to stick your head through, right?
I mean, it's big enough for me to walk through.
At least you think.
That might be where our displacer beast came from in that case.
Probably. Also, I could see a castle, and castles plus Feywild means bad shit. For us.
How so?
Not always.
It means, the more powerful ones live in castles.
Have you
The
ever
ones that
been
love to
the
fuck with people.
Feywilds? Most of those tend to live in the woods, if you haven't heard the fairy tales.
Lady, I've sung the fairy tales. That's not all of them. The big ones live in places like that.
If you say so.
You hear a voice actually call out from behind you. He's technically right, and so is she. It's a voice none of you recognize.
Oh,
Can I see where it's coming from?
it's coming from the
It's-
corner, isn't it?
No. Actually, it's right behind you, right here, in the hallway.
Oh, is it like freaking Scary Movie? Like you look away, it's right behind me.
No, it's just a figure, sort of lounging in the doorway, like arm raised against it, hand like leaning against the other arm as it's sort of like jutting out almost cartoonishly. She's just sort of like looking at you all bemused. Hi.
Hey,
Do we
is
recognize
it?
this person?
All of you roll history.
Do any of us get advantage?
Nope.
Fuck.
I'm going to guidance myself.
Okay. Toki would be the only one who would vaguely recognize her, and he doesn't. And Thargriff doesn't recognize her as an individual, but rather as a species. She's an unseelie,
What?
which is okay. So basic breakdown of the Feywild: it's split into two courts: Seelie and Unseelie. Seelie are the ones who are kind of both are kind of dickish, but Seelie, at the very least, are kind of happy and will at the very least give you a good time. Unseelie, not so much. Where the Seelie are spring, summer, light, all the happy stuff. The Unseelie are the opposite. Winter, fall, darkness, misery. Effectively, they're an inverse.
And which one are we dealing with?
An Unseelie. She's wearing a mask, so her face is obscured, and she's wearing a cloak that is at both the same time very heavy, yet also very form-fitted. It's a very weird aesthetic.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Well, hello there.
Hi. And she's actually like sort of spinning something on her finger. I suppose you have a reason for being here? I mean, I don't know much about your puny little races, but I'm fairly certain most of you don't enjoy the smell of piss and shit. Then again,
That
maybe you
would
do. I don't know. I don't come here often.
You would be correct in assuming that we don't, but we do have purpose to be down here. May I ask what you are doing here?
Now, why would I tell a bunch of filthy monkeys that?
I'm pretty
I
sure
would
I'm the
not.
only one who's a monkey, technically.
I would refrain from calling us such vulgar things.
Why?
We're
Because
simply trying to have a polite conversation.
As am I. I haven't turned the entirety of you into frogs and ground you under my boot yet. And given the hassle I had to come through here when I came to this filthy world, that is me being courteous.
I'm gonna use thaumaturgy, and I'm going to. Are there any lights in the room?
I mean, if you guys are projecting one, then yes.
As far as I know, we aren't.
Well, then Octavius is blind.
I have goggles of night.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no
Yeah.
lights in the room.
Okay.
Well, the rock is
I'm gonna
technically
use. I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to make like smoke come from the walls and say, "You really don't think that we're down here because we're just some mundane group of human folk, do you?"
She snaps her fingers and all the smoke just vanishes immediately. Of course not. Or maybe you are. I don't care. I don't know. I'm just sizing you up. Especially you. And she points at you, Asriel. And before you actually know it, she's behind you. And she's running a hand along your shoulder. I like you. Before appearing back at the doorway.
I will teleport behind her and do the same thing.
You find you can't.
yeah.
Can I tell that there's a magical effect keeping us from casting magic?
She is the thing keeping us from casting magic.
It's pretty obvious that yes, there is something preventing you from casting any form of magic. Whether it be high tier magic or some object or her, you don't know.
Alright, I'm gonna try something.
She actually, before you can talk, she actually tilts her head to the side and sort of looks up. Yes, I know. Of course not. That is true. I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Oh, great. More crazy people.
I heard that.
And wasn't meant for you not to hear it.
Octavius tries to take one step forward. If he's able to. And goes on to say, lovely lady of the court, we are merely searching for a companion of ours that has gone missing in these disgusting
Get it
tunnels.
with the boot licking shit. Speak plainly, or I turn you into a frog.
Alright, that was...
Also, and she points at you, Thargarth, make a con save.
Oh, hell.
Good, because her save was 20.
Whew!
You feel this intense blackness sweep over your eyes for a second before it just vanishes away. Just, oh, that was weird.
Tingly.
As you were saying, shitheel. And she's talking to you, Octavius.
Ha ha ha. Well, we are merely looking for a companion that is lost in these tunnels. We
Oh,
met.
you mean the preacher girl? She's the only one left alive. I made sure of that. Lovely girl. Very. And she rolls her wrist. Pliable. And before you ask, no, I didn't break her. I wish I did.
Well
What?
then,
But this leaves us at an impasse. Because technically, I've done a service for you by saving her life. So now, you owe me. Or rather, she does. And if I'm guessing correctly, she controls you. And given that she's likely not going to be able to repay the debt anytime soon, it falls to her lessers. So,
I'm afraid I don't follow.
What is it you
oh,
want?
please. A simple favor is all. Nothing too bad. I don't ask for your souls. I don't ask for your faith.
If
And
I'm
she looks to
correct,
Azrael, though I could ask for other things.
if I remember correctly, your favors are never simple.
Oh, but they are. It's simply you mortals who are too stupid to understand what you say.
Then pray tell, what is this favor of yours?
Well, I haven't decided yet. I'm
Name
certain
your
it has to be
terms
something.
now, because we might not agree to them later.
Oh, but that's all the fun. Holding something over somebody else. For now. She simply walks up to you, Octavius. My favor is for your mind to be a little more active at nights. And for me to get all the delicious images your little twisted, malformed half-breed mind produces. Later on, it will be modified to better suit the arrangement, but for now, and her hand brushes along your cheek, and you can swear for a second it's cold enough that it almost feels like she ripped into the flesh.
Why did she refer to me as half breed?
Oh no, she's talking to Noctis.
Wait, you said that to Azrael? I mean, to
You said that to
Sorry,
Octavius.
I misspoke. My bad. I meant Noctis. My bad. But yeah, so she's doing this to Noctis, not Octavius.
I have a very hard glare at her with
Oh,
maybe enough
yes,
for
I do
rifle.
love it when they put up a fight.
It's funny because the rifle spear is right in front of her chest, isn't it?
Yes, but she seems to show no mind to it. So, I do. Ta-ta. For now, we shall be departing from each other for a while. But I'm
No one
certain.
has agreed to anything.
Oh, but the agreement is never said. The eye contact is enough. Ta-ta. And she walks towards the corner and disappears into it. Immediately, any bizarre effects in the room vanish.
I checked to see if
Also,
the portal's still
everybody
there.
make a wisdom save. All of you can't remember what you just did for the past 5 minutes.
God damn it! Out of character. I was trying to get us out of there by making the shit. I was trying to out Con a Fey, but I didn't have a chance to speak.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
wasn't up for that shit. To give you a reference to what she
Yeah.
had been doing for the past 10 hours, slogging through a sewer, blowing a hole in a wall, storming some random asshat's castle, and then finding some dying cleric girl who she had to save because, well, to give it simply, she gave her the puppy dog eyes and she managed to get guilted into it somehow. She was not in a mood to talk.
And now we owe a favor to that.
Well, technically yes and technically no. Currently, the favor is being paid off by Azrael, though none of you know it yet.
That's
The
not
hell?
Lovely.
It'll be explained as of later.
And none
For
of
now,
us
though.
know that.
Well, not exactly.
We lost our
Azrael, there's a chilling sensation on your cheek. And when you go up, you notice 3 slight grooves in the skin. Almost like something clawed at it. Right down right down in the extra powers tab, and like extra abilities of your character sheet, marked by the Fae.
Do we remember that there was a portal to the Feywilds in the
We don't
corner a few
remember
minutes ago?
anything for the last.
No, you remember. No, here's how it works. You, Octavius, remember going to the Feywild somehow. You pulled your head out of a corner, talked for a bit, and then blank. So you know there was a portal there, and now it's gone.
So I'm gonna check to see if the portal's there still.
It's gone.
Okay.
So
Like, you
out
go
of
in
game,
for a second, and your vision blurs, but then your hand hits wall.
So given the fact that we don't remember what happened, and there's now a big bruise on Noctis's face, can I deduce
Not
something
big,
Fey just
medium
happened?
sized. Roll an Arcana check.
Which side of it? Which side?
Which side would be uncovered, or would both be uncovered?
If I remember correctly, left eye was covered.
So it would be the right side. Your right cheek would have the mark. Yeah, it's not that hard to understand. You know enough about the Feywild to know that a lot of the beings there have very easy access to illusion and enchantment magic. One of their favored tricks is messing with the memories of whoever they interact with that isn't one of their own. Hell, you've known a few of them to mess with their own as well. Basic point is, you know something happened, but you're not sure what.
The minute we get Alicia's body back to her church, we're all getting restoration. Because something just happened.
Is it
Why?
lesser restoration or greater restoration that restores memories?
Greater.
Okay.
Yeah,
How much,
none of us are strong enough.
and how much is that gonna cost us?
I mean, we're bringing back someone who almost died and finishing a quest signed up for them. We could probably get that as payment. Because
Well, technically it doesn't cost anything.
Huh?
The spell oh wait, no, that's modified memory, not greater restoration.
Yeah, like 1,000 gold worth of dust.
The diamond dust worth at least 100 gold pieces, which
It
the
is
spell
consumed,
consumes.
so it would cost you 100 gold to have the service performed.
Per person.
But
Yeah,
hey, maybe we'll be lucky and that'll be our payment for finishing this crap. Because I don't want to deal with whatever the hell just happened here.
Alright, do you guys want to proceed to the next room?
Yes.
Yes.
16, nothing. But you do, Azrael and Octavius, you do smell the faintest scent of rot.
God damn it, I look for that.
Nothing. Just shards of wood.
Alright, let's keep going.
Can I stick my head in?
Find Alicia propped up against a wall. You're breathing shallow, but a large gaping hole on her side.
I'm gonna investigate her body to see if there's any magic that's keeping her in this condition so that I wouldn't be able to heal her.
It looks like there is like a thin layer of. Actually, as you look close, there's a thin layer of very brown moss covering her stomach. Peeling it back, it's sticky and red underneath.
Ugh.
Does it look like it would prevent me from healing her?
Not really. If anything, it might help. You'd have to roll a nature check to get the exact origin of it. Or probably an arcana
Sure.
check.
Sure. Why not? Boop.
Oh.
Nature, not arcana.
No, either one would have worked.
Well, let me
Remember,
try nature.
Faye. Their stuff's just as much magical as it is natural.
Yeah, it's not any better.
Again. Oh.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds.
You don't know.
No, I'm casting Cure Wounds.
Alrighty.
This one. We'll start with.
You guys
first
stop
level,
doing
see how
arcana
that
checks.
goes.
You watch as the light, as color floods Alicia's face, as the stone coin loses its shine. You assume she's out of a grievously wounded state. Alicia shakes her head. You notice? Do any of you speak Sylvan?
Octavius does.
So do I.
She mentions something about the Winter Court. Something about black. Finally, no, I swear. Beyond that, it's just muddled gunk. It's a weird way to describe words, but that's really the best way you can describe what she said. Evidently, she didn't speak Sylvan naturally.
So Winter Court
Okay,
and
Jackass,
Black.
it's time to wake up.
Sorry, you both talked at the same time, so I really couldn't hear what either of you said.
Dargon told her it's time to wake up. Smacked her on the cheek.
She sort of just like feebly swats. Octavius, what were you gonna say?
I was confirming what she said. She said Winter Court and Black.
What? What?
No, that's me asking you for my notes.
Yeah, sorry. If you had said that, yes, she had said Winter Court, the Winter Court, something black, and then no, I swear. In that order. But there was some jumbled mess, half Sylvan, half common, that was spoken between that because of its composition you really couldn't figure out.
We'll figure out this later. Let's just get her back home.
You actually notice most of her armor's been stripped away. She's still wearing clothing. It's common raiments, but there's no armor on her. And as she stands up and the moss falls away and like she looks around. What?
Hey, lady. Next time you're gonna do something stupid, you should tag along with us.
Yes, I hope you learned your lesson.
Where am I?
You're in the sewers.
What? That's what I remember.
Alicia, could you always speak Sylvan?
What? I was speaking Sylvan?
Yeah, and you had that moss on your gut.
You actually look down and the moss is completely disintegrated.
Well, shit.
I. It's like Alicia gets that sort of look like somebody just splashed water on her face. Like, oh, why are we here?
You tell us.
I don't even know how I got here.
Well, that's
I
great.
was. I was at the church. I gave them the protophylactery. And then I.
Then you found a lead, went off half-cocked, and almost died.
I did?
You found your notes and your holy symbol.
Can I have that back?
It wasn't her holy symbol, it was a rock. With script on it.
Show it.
Can I have. Yeah, God, Holly, you just came in.
Sorry. I hold up the holy symbol and say, "Do you recognize this? Because we found this in a room of corpses, which apparently some fake." Oh wait, we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
remember.
You don't remember what happened. You just remember that something
I'm just gonna say.
came up.
I'm just gonna say we found this in a room with a bunch of dead people. Did you have anything to do with that?
That's Sendra's symbol. Why would somebody deface that?
Well, either way, we need to start dragging you back to your church, and all of us need to get fixed, because there was a portal to the Feywild open.
Wouldn't it be defaced though? Because I cast mending on it so that I could tell what it was.
It still would have been whatever the frick magically.
It would have been defaced to begin with, but then you would have repaired it. So now it's a full symbol of Sendra.
Okay, so it's not defaced when I show it to her.
No, but you said you found this. I thought you mentioned that it had been messed up.
No, I said I found this in a room of corpses,
okay,
and I said, "Do
sorry.
you know anything about that?"
That's the symbol of Sendra. What? What? What?
Let's just leave and we'll talk about this later.
I help her up, and if she needs it, I put her arm over my shoulder to help carry her out of here.
She actually starts walking on her own. It's more just like she's constantly sort of like just shaking her head slightly to sort of what? Just like sort of shake the dust out.
On our way back, I start telling her how we were doing something. We saw a portal into the Feywilds, and then we also lost our memory for a few minutes or hours, or we don't really know.
That would explain things. Typically, the Feywilds have this effect. And she doubles over and pukes.
I'm trying to hold her up so she's not doubling over.
I get her hair.
It's actually meticulously braided.
Oh, okay.
With little lilies and sort of like these sort of like white iridescent flowers woven in it.
I don't remember her hair being that detailed.
Neither does she.
I rub her back to let her all out.
She like typically the Fae.
Hey, you want some liquor to get it all out?
No, I'm fine. Typically, The Feywilds have an effect on the minds of those that aren't from that realm. It has it has the potential to remove the memory of it from you. The Fae themselves, while not inherently gifted with this property, can do it themselves.
Oh, that's just lovely. Because I saw a castle when I stuck my head in there.
Oh, you actually remembered? That's great.
Yeah, it means whatever came out was probably really strong.
If anything came out, for all we know, we went into the hole.
There's a hole.
We are going to a church, and I'm getting my brain cleaned.
All right.
I don't know why,
So
but I'm
we'll say-
extremely pissed right now.
Oh no, you wouldn't even feel pissed. You just feel confused if you try to think back on those moments.
And that pisses me off.
Fair. And that is where we'll be ending it for the night.
Did we at least get to the church?
Yes, we will say you got to the church, but before you could go in, that is where the session is ending.